Recovery Daily podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today, let's all wish a happy birthday to Rachel's mom. Yay! Happy birthday, Mom! My mom and my sister and my niece came over for a tea, which is one of my favorite sobriety parties. So we had a tea, and I made what is going to be a world famous chocolate cake with chocolate icing. It's vegan, and it was freaking amazing. My mom asked me what makes it vegan. There's non-dairy butter, non-dairy milk, and instead of using an egg, you use white distilled vinegar. And this is the lightest, fluffiest, moistest cake I think I've ever made. I haven't made a lot of cakes, but it was a good one. And I'm going to have some after the recording because I didn't want to record with chocolate teeth. And let's see what else. I got my Social Security disability approval letter in the mail today, another celebratory event. And I opened the letter and I'm reading through it, and it says how much I'm going to be getting a check for. And then I'm like, and it's like half of what I've been getting for long-term disability. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I feel like I got demoted, you know? But I had forgotten about all my research that I had done that these two, Social Security disability and long-term disability, end up offsetting, and I end up with the same amount that I had been getting. So it's very complicated. And with that, I feel really, my heart goes out to people who are disabled and don't have the ability to do this kind of research for themselves and have to rely on other people. Hopefully people that aren't going to take advantage of them, you know, it's really scary. I thought about maybe I would do a podcast just on my experience with filing disability and what that has been like for me, so that maybe somebody who needs to hear it might run across it, because it surely would have helped me to have a resource like all in one place. And I can tell you what I did. I mean, I got approved the first time around. I really feel like it's because, number one, I had a stroke and I have the MRIs to show it, but I also have been nonstop going to specialists who have been evaluating me and documenting all this stuff. So I don't know how I did it, but I can certainly share. And I think it's worth sharing, kind of like sharing how I stay sober, share how I got approved. And if it can be helpful to somebody, then that's great. So maybe I'll do that. I'll have to think about it. And finally, I still feel pretty bad. I don't really know why I've had such a decline over the past 5 days, but I was telling my mom and my sister and my nephew, like, it feels like somebody just grabbed a hold of my head and just shook it, like shook it really hard, and then hit it against the wall once, just once. Um, it feels like, you know, I was outside walking Autumn earlier, and it felt worse than when I was with my mom and my sister. And it was like, I was trying to think, how would I explain to somebody what it feels like? And it felt like when I was walking Autumn, like I was on a roller coaster, and at the same time, somebody was shaking my head, and I had already hit it against the wall. So, I mean, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's uncomfortable and it sucks, and I don't know what else to do but laugh. So, that's an uncomfortable laugh. Anyway, I'm still going, you know, one foot in front of the other. I'm still recording, and I got a final update. I got a message on Facebook today from somebody I went to high school with, and he said that he's been meaning to send me a message for a long time, and he appreciated all that I'm doing to talk about my sobriety and my recovery. And he shared with me that he's 4 years sober, and said that some of the stuff that I talk about is stuff that he thinks and he feels, and just gave me encouragement and thanked me. And I I have to tell you, there's never a time that that doesn't feel good for somebody to reach out to me and tell me that I'm doing good, that what I feel is my purpose right now is other people are benefiting from it. But when I feel this bad physically, like in my head from my stroke and vestibular stuff, to have somebody reach out to me during one of my lows, one of my physical lows, and tell me what you're doing is good. Thank you. That is just all the more reason to just keep doing it. You know, it doesn't take a lot for me to do an episode. I'm trying to do them with a little less of me reading and preparation. So I'm starting to get better at being able to talk off the cuff. In the beginning, a year ago, I couldn't remember what I was saying. I couldn't remember the beginning of a sentence by the time I got to the end of it. So I had to write a lot of it down. I still have that problem. So I'm still referencing a script all the time. I'm always referencing a script, but I have been able to go on tangents and talk off the cuff a little bit. So I think that this is helping me. It has to be helping me cognitively with my language and memory disorder. It certainly isn't hurting, you know? So I try to do it even on days that I don't feel good, but there are some times that I just have to go straight to sleep, you know? And today I was right on the fence, but I just really wanted to, and just am so appreciative of all the people that reach out to me. And listen, it means so much to me that I have you. I can't see you. You can only see me, but I know you're there. And that means the world to me, the world to me. You have no idea. So today's topic, I wanted to talk about drinking, how it felt like we had to drink to survive when we were active alcoholics, and how today I understand it is to not drink to survive, you know, thriving without alcohol. So my morning meeting, you know, I go to 2 morning meetings, and this morning, both meetings, it's really funny how they kind of sync up, they fall in line with each other. I think that that just naturally happens as my mind is in one place. With my first meeting, the second one, I grab what applies and stick that in there as well. But the question this morning was, why can't we stop drinking even when we know alcohol is killing us? So those of you who are alcoholics, I think you know this all too well. Why can't we stop drinking when it's tearing apart our relationships? Why can't we stop drinking when it's damaging our lives? And so this topic hit home for me, and I was thinking I could offer some insight, what it was like for me, what my experiences are, and some hope. So when I was an active alcoholic, I heard people ask me, why do you drink so much? And I couldn't really answer that, you know. I think when somebody would ask me that, I felt guilty and ashamed, you know. It just added to my feelings of confusion because I didn't know why I drank so much, really, for the longest time, I drank because I liked it. I drank because it made me feel good. I drank to get drunk. Um, and then over time, as I got older, as I had kids, I drank to relax. I drank to take the edge off. But I was still drinking to get drunk. I just changed what I called it because I still got drunk every night. I just did it like an adult instead of like a sorority chick, Um, the truth is that drinking felt like a means to survival. It became something I felt like I needed in order to stay alive, in order to manage my anxiety. Um, Regardless of the severe consequences that my drinking caused, it relieved what felt like I was dying on the inside. And I'm not using that word as an exaggeration. I really felt like I was dying. I had so much anxiety. It was debilitating. I couldn't hold a cup of coffee like with one hand. I remember going to a wedding and my husband, like it was the reception and we went to go get coffee and I asked him to carry my coffee back to my table because I couldn't carry it. I would have spilt it. Like not just dribbled it, it would have just splashed out of the cup because my shaking was so bad at that point. And the only way to make the shaking go away was to drink. Um, and my anxiety got so bad that I couldn't, I was fearful to even go to the store. I was fearful to do anything towards the end. I don't know if, yeah, I do know. I was gonna say, I don't know if that's because I was working from home, but I forgot that when that I actually worked out of the home right before I quit drinking. So I was scared to do anything. So I started drinking to do everything. I drank in the end, I was drinking on the way to work, drinking in my cubicle at work, drinking on the way home. I couldn't do anything without drinking. It had such a powerful hold over me that considering stopping was out of the question. There's no way. I felt like I I wouldn't have survived. I really believed that. To drink was to survive. In the throes of my alcoholism, it was a temporary escape from my anxiety, from the pain that I was feeling from all the stuff that I stuffed into my dark place. And it was an escape from reality. It was my coping mechanism, even though it was destructive. I didn't really see it for the destructive nature. My brain became wired to crave that relief from anxiety, from pain, from reality, even though it was temporary. So ultimately, I had to drink nonstop. If I was awake, I had to be drinking in order to subside the pain, the anxiety, the reality. And what I didn't really understand was happening was that it was leading to even more suffering. It was a vicious cycle, and that's what makes alcoholism such a challenging disease to overcome. And I've said this before, and I wish there was a better way of saying it, but it's like the very disease that is killing you is what's keeping you from quitting. You know, it's just, it's a monster. It's a monster inside of you. And you can't even see it. You don't even know what's happening to you. So gratefully, I have had a shift in perspective, but it was not overnight that that happened. I had to take away the drink and feel the pain first. I had to feel the anxiety, and I had to see reality for what it is. Today, I don't have to drink to survive. And I'd never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would be sitting here 8 years sober, much less 8 days sober, um, and talking about what it's like to not drink. If I can do this, then you can. I don't know why, if I could solve the unanswered question, why do some people not get it? Why do some people not don't have the ability to get sober? I wish I knew. I've lost several close friends to the disease. And if there was something I could have done, I would have done it. But the honest truth is that there's nothing anyone else could have done for me. Nothing anyone could have said to me. And these people that I've lost, it's not like they weren't aware of AA. It's not like they didn't go to detox just like me. It's not like they didn't have a loving family just like me. But for some reason, I'm here and they're not. And I'm able to see that I don't have to drink to live today. I've learned that survival doesn't have to be, doesn't exist by numbing pain, you know. Instead, the program says I'm offered a daily reprieve from my compulsion to drink contingent upon my spiritual fitness. And that means that my well-being today relies on me maintaining this healthy spiritual condition, this thing where I get to go on and see somebody from high school that sends me a message and says, thank you for doing what you're doing. And then I turn around and say thank you to my higher power for giving me the gift of him telling me that. That's my healthy spiritual condition, that I'm able to receive and I'm able to give. That's when I know I'm on the beam, and I'm offered strength and clarity when I get a gift like that. And I am driven even more to continue to face my life without alcohol. So, spiritual fitness, what exactly is that? It involves the daily practices that I talk about every day that keep me grounded and connected to my higher power. That means every time I get a chance, I am almost like I'm not going to be able to think of the word. The thing that you throw out and it comes boomerang that you throw out and comes back to you. I think I had an episode about this. Anytime I have a chance, I boomerang back to my recovery. So if I go out and walk my dog and I'm talking to the neighbors or something like that, then I step away from the neighbors and start walking again, I immediately boomerang back to recovery. My mind is back to being gratitude. In some way, it always is. I can talk to a neighbor that is criticizing other people and I don't agree with what they're saying. Or I can talk to a neighbor who's just like me, the same age as me, has kids like me, and is just full of encouragement, ask me how I am. Whoever I'm talking to, when I'm done, I boomerang back to recovery and I usually look up and say thank you because there's some gift that I was given no matter who I was just talking to. And I want to be grateful for that. Sometimes I don't talk to anybody and I'm just grateful for being able to take a deep breath outside. Being able to walk around the block is a big deal for me. And the past 5 days, it's been really hard for me to walk around the block. I've been feeling like today I was walking. I don't know what I did. I looked down, maybe. I moved my head in some way that I shouldn't have. And all of a sudden, I was like, I'm going to fall over. So I stopped where I was and I told Autumn, I'm like, hold on, wait. She knows how to wait. And I just had to take a breath for a second and then we kept going. So just walking around the block is something to be grateful for. Before I go to bed, I boomerang back to recovery with with a prayer of gratitude. Before I take my nap in the afternoon, if I take a nap. Most days lately, I'm having to take a nap, but I'll do a meditation before I take a nap. I go to my meetings, and even in recovery, when I'm doing these hobbies that I love so much that I'm trying to figure out like where's my thing, in recovery, like what am I going to do with myself? Doing things like painting pill bottles. It makes me feel like I'm turning something like I have I have two pill bottles here. If you're following me on Facebook or on my website, you know that I've been painting landscapes on pill bottles. I've done two of them so far. And it makes me feel like I'm taking my recovery, the pill bottles, and turning them into something beautiful. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast. And so I keep trying to, everything I do, boomerang back to that mindset. And by nurturing my spiritual health, I'm able to maintain mental stability, emotional stability, instead of falling back on old habits. And a few days ago, I was feeling a little off balance. I think I would say mentally, I was feeling a little off balance. I was feeling a little resentful. So I called my sponsor, and it's that kind of stuff that boomerang back to recovery. And I'm able to keep building my spiritual muscle so that I have something to boomerang back to. So today, to not drink is to survive. But more than that, I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. And sobriety has given me the ability to do that, the ability to thrive. The program that I'm a part of, AA, has given me a guide to live. something that I could have used a long, long time ago. And I feel so much stronger on the inside than I ever did. You know, I drank because I felt weak on the inside. I felt like drinking was almost like a trampoline that would catch me when I fall. And without drinking, now that I've worked the steps of the program, I feel like a trapeze artist who does not need the trampoline underneath anymore. You know, my relationships have healed, my physical health has improved, other than the stroke. I mean, that's I really, it has, you know, like I got my blood drawn and did the normal once a year blood thing, and uh everything's like great. My vegan stuff is fine, like my protein, my calcium, everything is perfect. There's nothing wrong with me. But yet I can barely walk around the block. But that's the stuff that signifies that my health has improved, taking the drink away. That kind of stuff, my nutrition and stuff has improved immensely. Before I quit drinking, my hair was super thin. My skin was like peeling, and I was dehydrated constantly. There was no glossiness on my eyes and stuff. And today I feel so much healthier from the inside out. I never thought that this was possible. I never did. I never thought it was possible. And it really is a testament to the power of recovery and the strength that we have as human beings. I mean, we have a strength that we don't even realize that's in there. And I'm sure that I've only scratched the surface of what I'm capable of. And that's something to look forward to experimenting with over the years as I continue to build my sobriety foundation and thrive in it. So, um, thriving without alcohol. Well, thriving with alcohol is doesn't even that's not even a real sentence. Like it's not it's not possible. You just can't. You're not thriving with alcohol. It's challenging to remove that part of the equation, but it is inexplicably rewarding. Focusing on our spiritual fitness and embracing the support of other people, our community, and building a life that is worth living, that you're going to remember, that there's hope, that you open your eyes in the morning and you think, huh, what am I going to do today? Today's a whole new day. And even though I'm going through this chronic condition, I still wake up in the morning and think of what am I going to do today? I was, I'll end on this. I was sitting at the table, and when I explained to my mom and my sister and my nephew, like how I was feeling, my mom said, you don't even look like you're feeling bad. And I said, what's the point in looking like I feel bad? You know, it's not going to do me any good to do that. It's hard for me to explain it, but I think I was talking to you guys yesterday. Like, if I just always talked about how terrible I feel, nobody would want to be around me. Um, People don't want to, like, if I were to ask my mom and my sister to come over for tea and then tell them how terrible I felt while they were there, they're not going to want to come over, because they're going to be afraid that their triggering my symptoms. But if I don't trigger my symptoms, I will be doing nothing but laying in bed. And I refuse to live like that. So, anyway, that's it. That's what I've got. I don't know if it's at a low note or a high note. I have no idea, but we're going to end there. So thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Recovery Daily podcast. I will talk to you tomorrow.